It's our pleasure to welcome now the Treasurer for the state of Mississippi, Treasurer David McRae. Mr. Treasurer, good to see you, sir. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, Gerard, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
You bet. So we wanted to have you in to talking about your efforts regarding unclaimed property, something that I submit doesn't get a lot of attention, but you've done a great deal just to promote the fact that there are a lot of people in Mississippi that have unclaimed property, and that's under your purview, and you've been really working feverishly to return it to them.
Yeah, that's been a big thing of mine since I got elected in 19. I said when I was on the stump and everything roaming around the state is that I wanted to innovate the state government, but especially unclaimed money and unclaimed property, was to get so we could get that back to the people of Mississippi. And we've done that through various and sundry different ways, getting rid of the notary so you can do make it easier, e-filing, being more proactive in finding people. And we have returned $150 million. The program started in 1984.
Wow.
And we have returned more than half of the money overall
Man.
since 1984.
Okay, so what did we do before 1984? Did we just not have a program for that purpose, or did this treasurer just sat on it and didn't have really a means to return it? How did that work?
I mean, besides technology, which is the easy answer to anyone listening, it would say, oh, well, technology got better. And yeah, it did. I mean, I remember going to the fairgrounds and every treasurer had that big old book, which was fun to see and all that. And yeah, technology made it better, but we've just been so proactive in doing it. My team just going out and finding people. We're about to start another Unclaimed Money Roadshow, as I call them, and we're going to be visiting several different places around the state and just going out to the people and saying, hey, look, we're in your community, come by. And we'll have like 200-300 people show up at these events, and we'll find people anything from $20 to a couple $100,000. I mean, it's just amazing what people have and what they, and of course, getting across to them that it's not a scam, but it's just amazing what people have. And technology has made it so much easier, but you have to have a staff. And I say my staff is one of the best, period, I think, in state government. I'm a little biased, but they are very hard-working staff. And I have about 8 people that work in unclaimed money, and they work tirelessly all day long trying to find people money. And I mean, hey, you lose. You just don't know what you got, and a lot of these people don't. And that leads to what's going to be happening on August 17th, which is National Nonprofit Day. It's something we actively look for nonprofits around the state that have unclaimed money, and we found a lot of nonprofits that have had unclaimed money that is available to them. I mean,
interesting.
I had to write it down because it's just such an interesting thing, but we found $1,300 for the Mississippi Make-A-Wish. We found $60,000 for a church that will be using it for a cemetery. We found this morning $2,000 for Magnolia Speech School, which is near and dear to my heart.
Right.
And then the biggest one we found is $250,000 for the School for the Deaf and the Blind. Right. And that one, I have a great story to go with that one, is that one was, that money was in a foundation. And that all the members of the foundation, the foundation died, and so it was being liquefied. And according to the will, and the address for the School for the Deaf and the Blind was put incorrectly on there. So it just went and sat at a bank from 2016 when the last person died of the foundation to when we found it in 2021 and handed it over to them.
Interesting.
So a lot of these nonprofits around the state may have unclaimed money because they changed names, they changed addresses. Like we found $16,000 for a youth soccer program just because they changed names. So
how does it end up in your office?
So it ends
how does that work?
After 5 years, the banks and anyone who has unclaimed money must turn it over to the state of Mississippi, and that comes to the Treasury. So
the banks.
So
most of this originates from banks, financial institutions.
A lot comes from banks. Some comes from energy companies who have, if you have a deposit that you moved and then you're supposed to get that deposit back, cable companies, gas, water. A lot of kids who are moving into dorms now, or not dorms, condos up at Ole Miss State or anywhere else in the state this week or are already moved in, they'll put a deposit down for gas or energy or with their rental company. And then in 4 years, they'll move and the person can't find them because their address has changed. And we get a lot of that. Lately, a lot of wills and estates come up and have been probated, and somebody just can't find the heirs.
So it's in accordance with law.
Yeah.
Is where it ends up resting in the control of the state treasurer.
That's right.
And you're trying to get it back to him.
We want to just get it back. We don't want it. I'm sure somebody wants it in the state. But, the Treasury, we don't want it. We want to give it back to the people. Look, it's an economic boost, Gerard, for the state of Mississippi.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost the taxpayers a cent.
Yeah.
What we found, and we constantly do studies on this, what we find is that when people get this money, they take it back to their local community, their local mom and pop store, and use it for something. People will spend it once they got it, and that's great for the state of Mississippi.
So let's do the math. How much has been returned since the program started, and how much has been returned since you've been the state treasurer?
A little more than 300 total has been returned since 1984, and since I've been treasurer, 150.
So half of it since you've been treasurer?
About half.
So to what do you attribute that, Mr. Treasurer?
It's, again, innovating. I came from the private sector, and bringing those private sector kind of mindsets of making government for the people, trying to get it out and help the people of Mississippi get this money out. And the process was kind of arduous. It was just difficult. It was with the notary, having to do it by paper, which was just, no one had ever changed it. No one had ever taken the time to change it. Okay. So what we did. We changed it. We made it online. We made it easier to find. We made, again, my staff just being proactive about it, just being that kind of guy who said, hey, people of Mississippi, you got money. You deserve it back, and we want to get it back to you.
Yeah. Well, I certainly can say that I've seen just citizens spread the word on social media, which doesn't cost anything, obviously. And so I've come across that where there have been like sharing of information from your office to let people know.
Well, there is a woman in Madison County named Arlette Thomas.
She's one that I'm talking about, yeah.
I figured you were.
Yeah.
She is an amazing person.
Yeah.
She made it a goal one day to say, I'm just going to return. And she told me, I'm going to return. She doesn't work for me.
Right.
And she said, I'm going to return $10,000. Well, she did that in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And today she has returned $2 million.
That's incredible.
People. And she's asked for a list. So we give her a list and say, hey, go at it. And she's making it a goal to return another $1 million. She just feels compelled, and I'm glad Arlette does. I mean, she is an amazing woman, an amazing assistant for the state of Mississippi, and a great volunteer for the state treasury. Yeah,
no doubt. So you're right. She's contacting people kind of in her orbit, or people that she can get contact information from and say, hey, look, you got this sitting there. And so that direct contact with a person from someone other than the treasurer's office obviously is producing benefit, because she's returned. She's helped people reclaim $2 million, right?
$2 million. I mean, $2 million. And I mean, there's been small sums, large sums,
That's
6 figures, 2 figures. I mean, it's amazing what she has found. And some of these people were in her neighborhood that just had money. She just, I think, started first, just looking at people in her neighborhood.
People she knows,
And there she went. And I mean, so that has helped us get to this goal of 150. The other thing is, last year, the legislature gave me a little money to go ahead and just send automatic checks to people.
Oh, okay.
So we can send up to $5,000 of easy to know claims. Like deposits, we know it's you. So bank accounts, wills and estates, life insurance, that we're not talking about those. We're talking about, we know for a fact it's Gerard.
I got you.
And so we've been able to just send people automatic mail. Cash money in the bank.
How about that?
I mean, to the mail.
Yeah.
And that has been a big boost in all this.
That's
of
awesome.
course, you couldn't imagine the amount of phone calls we got at first saying, hey, is this real? Is this real? But yes, it is. I mean, we put a letter and put in official letterhead, all that good stuff. But, people cashed it. But that's what we want. We want people to get their money back, to be happy about it. I mean, look, you find a little money in your coat pocket. Winter, I mean, I know it's hot as Hades outside right now, but come December, we'll get 2 days of cold weather, and you're going to have a coat on, and you're going to find $20, and you're happy about that, right?
That's pretty strong. So are there similar programs in other states? Are you aware?
There are. Every treasurer is a little different. So some handle unclaimed money, some don't. But some of them are not as proactive as ours. Some are very proactive, but we, for our state, we return, I think, probably some of the most in the country.
Okay. Well, if you can hang around, we keep talking. I want to get your thoughts on something you and I talk about a lot offline, the public employees retirement system.
I'd love to. Great.
We got the treasurer of the state of Mississippi in the Element Wealth studio, Treasurer David McRae. We're coming right back. Studio, we're chatting with Mississippi's state treasurer, David McRae. So, Mr. Treasurer, first of all, good work on getting money that rightfully belongs to Mississippians back to them. And the efforts that your office has put in to make sure they get their money back. So $150 million has been returned under your watch of the $300+ million since the program's been in effect.
That's right. I mean, we're shocked at that. I mean, we're shocked about it. I mean, we set goals when we first got here. We said, hey, we'll get to $20 million after so many years. We'll get to 8, and then it was like, hey, that was kind of easy. Yeah. And we'll get to 80, and then we got to 80, then we bumped up to 150. I mean, it's just, like I said earlier, it's all about innovating how state government works, how the Treasury works, modernizing it to how other, and looking at other treasuries and seeing how they did it and, replicating that and make it work for the people of Mississippi. I mean, we're getting money back to them, $150 million over 5 years to the people of Mississippi. That's just, like I said, a big economic boost and only helps Mississippi as we move down the line.
Yeah. That's awesome. Let's turn our attention just to overall state finances and what's going on in the Treasurer's office just in general. Of course, the money flows through your office, literally comes in, then it goes out.
It's like a water faucet. Yeah. No, last year, we're in our new fiscal year. We're in Q1. We ended last year on a very positive note in terms of investments. We made $421 million. Yeah. In the last 5 years under my leadership, we've made $1 billion in investments. So we obviously know how to capitalize on the markets. We're just kind of, right now waiting to see what interest rates do, if they're going to go down or stay the same. You ask anybody, you get, you ask 20 people, you get 100 different answers on how that's going to happen. So, we're kind of curious how that works. But, if interest rates go down, we know how to manage our investments to make sure we're maximizing the profits for Mississippi. It's $421 million last year. It's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, that's a great amount of money into the general fund that we can use for infrastructure projects or education or whatever we want to use it for, and it's money we didn't have. So I think, fiscally, I think the state is in the best shape possible it could possibly be, and I'm excited for it. I mean, we have a great future ahead of us.
Yeah. So what is our current outstanding debt right now? Have you done the numbers on that, looked at that recently?
Our debt we paid off last year was roughly about $500 million, which is low for the state of Mississippi. That's great. So we're happy about that. So our debt services was low last year. We only bumped it up because we did a couple infrastructure projects and building projects that we needed to do, like the alcohol warehouse that needed to be built. So we had to take out a little a loan for that, bond for that, which is no problem. But the year before that, we were down to $425 million. So, we'll just see how it goes this year. It's early in the year, but we've been using cash for everything, which is great, and we have cash sitting around to be used for these things. So under Tate Reeves' leadership as governor, we've just not had to do many bonds other than for school projects, IHL projects, which need to be done for all the IHL universities and everything.
Yeah, so that's certainly been something that the governor, the lieutenant governor in particular, likes to talk about it as well. So hats off to our state government for living within their means, still producing, $500 million surplus, I think, this year?
That's correct. So, I mean, and then our rainy day fund is flush with cash, which, the credit agencies love that. So they love all this. I mean, so for those things, that keeps giving us a good credit rating. So when we need to borrow money, we will borrow it at the lowest rate we possibly can borrow it at. So that saves us money in the long run, which we can go use for other things. But as everybody knows, you always use cash before you use credit. So that's what we're doing.
Let's talk about the public employees retirement system. What's going on there? Something you and I talk about a lot. Tell the folks how you're involved with PERS from a board governance perspective.
I am a permanent member of PERS. The treasurer is a permanent member by statute of PERS, so I get the fortunate circumstance of sitting on that board. The PERS is the biggest liability of the state. I mean, one of the biggest liabilities. It's roughly somewhere, if you look at the numbers, anywhere between $23 and $26 billion liability. It has roughly $35 billion in the bank. So it can't, so it's not underwater.
Well, not cash money in the
Not
bank,
cash money.
but in its portfolio.
Portfolio.
It's assets.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes.
I get it. Yeah,
But,
it's not underwater. It's not at risk of defaulting on benefit payments today.
And that's one thing I think a lot of people misunderstand is that, hey, yes, $26 billion, it's a scary number. It scares me. But, people are like, oh, well, it's underwater. It's going down, sinking ship. And it is going down. I mean, you do have to find a solution to this problem. Yeah. And how we got to $26 billion worth of debt, of liability, is that you took on, back in 2000, they increased the COLA to 3% plus compounded interest. Yep. And that's just not sustainable under any model.
And it's automatic. It doesn't matter what the CPI is. It doesn't matter. Not so connected to it, like Social Security is, for example.
Correct. And so, that's what the legislature did. And, let me put a disclaimer before any of this. Any changes I talk about PERS does not affect anybody currently in PERS. We're only going to talk about, if I talk about it, any changes. It's people that are employed later. So if you're in PERS and listening to this, your retirement will not be affected by anything going on at the moment. Yeah. But so the legislature last year came up with a solution to create a new tier that would not have a COLA. So you got rid of the 3% plus compounded interest, but you got no COLA, which is an issue. So what they've come up with a new tier to stop the bleeding of hiring new hires with this incredibly generous COLA, which is fine. I mean, that's what the contract says, and that's what you get. But that only solved the problem on that side. What PERS needs is a consistent revenue source. And, I've looked at the numbers, and the numbers would be roughly $200 million for the considerable future, and by 2050 with just
a year. Right.
And by 2050-ish, it would bring PERS up to 73% funded. Yep. I mean, unfortunately, that's just the math of things. I mean, it is what it is. And I've talked to some leadership over in the House, and I'm going to talk to leadership in the Senate. And, if we do not fix this problem, our credit will be downgraded.
Already has been, right?
As a result of this.
AA plus to AA, I think?
We're AA still with a not such a positive outlook. Yeah. So we're still.
And this is one of the reasons.
This is one of the main reasons.
Yeah, probably the main reason.
The main reason that we can fix. Yeah. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Yeah. And so my fear is that if we do not put in a consistent revenue source of a significant number, 200 million, like I said, by 2050, only gets you to 73, but that's fine. At least you're putting in money so the credit agencies can look that you're actually making some difference. Right. Right now we have $0 going in. Right. If you have a ton of credit card debt, Gerard, you're going to start paying something in. Yep. We have the most money of cash at the moment in state's history. We should be using some of it to be paying down our credit card debt. Yeah.
And we did a couple of years ago, as you know, the legislature wrote a check for $100 million, transferred it to PERS, but it wasn't a recurring stream, and the credit agencies know that. It was a one-off.
And actually, that kind of hurts us a little bit. One-time payments have actually been in the past a negative towards us. Really? Because they see that as you can only do it once, you can't do it twice. Sure. Hey, a magician can make an elephant disappear. That makes sense. The trick is to bring the elephant back.
Yeah, I get it. Okay.
So, I mean, and that's nice, and thank you, legislature, for doing that, and I applaud them for taking the steps to try to fix that. But it's time to actually put a consistent revenue source towards PERS in perpetuity. And on top of that, it would be my recommendation to put if we have any surplus revenue, put surplus revenue up to 8% or 10% surplus revenue on top of the $200 million, and you'll start getting to that number a lot faster.
So just pulling $200 million out of thin air on an annual basis would cause a lot of heartburn for a lot of people, as you know. But I hear you.
But we're sitting on the largest amount of money we've ever sat on.
Well, we are, and we can certainly write checks out of some of those funds that are flush with money right now to PERS, but it starts to deplete those funds unless we continue to produce surpluses and replenish.
It does. And yes, it is going to cause heartburn. But had we started addressing this problem 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we wouldn't be talking about $200 million.
I'm with you.
And, the longer you kick this can down the road, the more expensive
it gets. Expensive.
It's going to be very expensive. So today is the cheapest number I can give you.
We are a microcosm of Social Security, which celebrated its 90th birthday yesterday. Right. It's the same situation. Same deal.
Same situation. And, I'm hoping the legislature, they're having a hearing on the 21st, which is next week.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping they really bring up a consistent revenue source of significant standard. I mean, the credit rating is a massive concern of mine. And if we are downgraded, we're not going to be able to do the projects we want to do.
Well, it's and we got about 15 seconds here. It's a problem when we need to borrow money because it's more expensive.
That's right.
And we can't anticipate that terminally we won't have to borrow money.
That's
we can't
correct.
anticipate that.
That's correct.
Yep. Appreciate you coming in, Mr.
All right,
Treasurer.
Gerard, I appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're coming right back in the Element Wealth